One of the biggest challenges we face is the failure to stick to new habits, especially positive ones, while bad habits continue effortlessly. In the previous videos of this series, we discussed some of the reasons why we struggle to adopt good habits or remain stuck in bad ones. But in this video, we will address the most important and powerful reason that prevents us from successfully maintaining good habits while allowing bad habits to persist. Today, we will focus specifically on habits. As we mentioned before, habits consist of three stages: the cue, the routine, and the reward. In this video, we will discuss the small changes or atomic habits that you can implement to help you easily adopt the habits you want to cultivate. Welcome to Growth Galore. The concept behind this channel is to explain audiobooks in English, and as you can see, the text is available in both English and German. You can enable subtitles for more language options. If you'd like to listen to the videos in other languages, you can request that through our channel. In this video, we will explain Atomic Habits by James Clear. Grab your favorite drink and get ready to enjoy the content. The human brain is truly amazing. It constantly gravitates towards comfort, striving to conserve energy. This tendency stems from ancient times when humans had to expend large amounts of energy on essential tasks, such as securing food and water. The brain always seeks to accomplish tasks with the least effort possible. Take, for example, the first time you performed a new action. It likely felt difficult. When you first learned to drive a car, it was incredibly complex. But over time, as you continued practicing, driving became much simpler compared to that first experience. This is because the brain found a more efficient way to perform the task. This point is crucial. Here is where the subconscious mind comes into play. Some activities initially require a significant mental effort followed by physical effort. The brain attempts to program these activities, eventually delegating them to the subconscious mind. Over time, both the conscious and subconscious minds work together to repeat the behavior with minimal effort. And this is where the challenge lies. Do you know why? Because once the brain becomes accustomed to easy and comfortable habits, it starts resisting new activities that require more mental or physical effort. For instance, if you decide to go to the gym, you might find it one of the hardest things to do. This happens because the brain always prefers solutions that conserve your energy. Therefore, it's essential to remember that when you start practicing a new activity that demands mental or physical effort, your brain will initially resist this effort in order to preserve energy. Don't let it control you. Push through, and after a while, you'll notice that the new habit has become entirely natural for you. James Clear emphasizes that when we talk about habits, we need to make the cue for the habits we want to adopt as obvious as possible. Conversely, for habits we want to eliminate, the cue should be hidden or removed entirely. When it comes to adopting new habits, Clear stresses the importance of making them easy, which is the core of the concept behind Atomic Habits. Let me give you an example. Going to the gym. We all know the immense benefits it has on both mental and physical health, and we understand the phrase, a healthy mind in a healthy body. However, the idea of actually going to the gym often feels daunting and exhausting. This makes sense. Do you know why? Our daily lifestyles are filled with comfort, and as a result, spending an hour or more at the gym becomes the hardest activity we engage in throughout the day. That's why James Clear suggests turning gym visits into a habit. To make going to the gym easier, Clear advises breaking this habit down into smaller steps and improving them incrementally by just 1% each day. Over time, you'll see remarkable results. Clear also mentions that willpower is a limited resource for humans and tends to deplete as the day goes on. Therefore, It's better to make going to the gym the first task of your day since it's the most challenging. Start your morning by immediately putting on your workout clothes after waking up and don't engage in any other activities beforehand. Once you're dressed in your gym clothes, head straight to the gym. An additional step that can help is preparing your workout clothes the night before, so when you wake up, you're ready to go without wasting any time or losing part of your willpower. By following this approach, the habit of going to the gym becomes simple and easy to implement. As we've discussed earlier, the brain prefers habits that involve only a few clear and straightforward steps, such as 2 or 3 instead of 10. This way, you'll be able to accomplish the hardest task of your day with much greater ease. James Clear explains that simplifying the steps involved in a habit helps the brain accept and internalize it more quickly. And the key here is that the brain won't resist this habit because it has become so easy. Now, I want to ask you a question, and I hope you answer honestly in the comments. What habit takes up the most time in your day? Most likely, it will be the easiest habit you perform, and often that's using your phone. Why? Because using your phone is the easiest habit. It doesn't require much mental or physical effort. And that's exactly what the brain loves. So, if you want to develop a new habit, make it easy and reduce the steps involved, and your brain won't resist it. Instead, it will naturally program it, which is exactly what we aim for. This brings us to the topic of commitment, which is about consistently making good habits easy and bad habits difficult. Don't forget the process of habit replacement, replacing bad habits with beneficial ones. As we discussed in the previous video, replacing a bad habit with a new one is an essential part of this process. For example, I was only able to break my video game addiction when I replaced it with a new habit, like watching educational videos on YouTube or reading books. By doing so, I made the bad habit harder and the good habit easier. This is the essence of the conversation about habits. Now, let's talk about rewards. Have you ever been addicted to something, whether it's a game, an app, or any other activity, and after quitting it for a while, you felt regret over all the time you wasted on it? Maybe you asked yourself, how did I waste so much time on that game or app? Even if you enjoyed it at the time, you now feel it wasn't worth all that time. The answer is simple. You were a victim of a psychological experience related to behavior modification, which is based on what's called variable or unpredictable rewards. And you might still be a victim of this technique without realizing it. Rewards play a huge role in the continuation of any habit. James Clear explains in his book that cues and actions drive you to try a habit for the first time, but rewards are what make you return to it, whether it's a positive or negative habit. In Atomic Habits, James Clear focuses on the process of habit formation, breaking it down into 4 steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. The reward, which is the final step in the habit loop, is the key to maintaining and repeating the habit. The reward is the primary factor that ensures a habit continues and solidifies in our lives. Without a reward, there is no real motivation to repeat the behavior. In the context of Atomic Habits, the reward is that positive moment that comes after performing the desired behavior. It's what gives you a sense of accomplishment, immediate satisfaction, or fulfillment. These feelings make the brain register that the behavior is worth repeating in the future. In habits, rewards play a crucial role in achieving 2 main purposes. 1. Satisfying the craving that drives the behavior. A craving is triggered by a cue that prompts you to perform the behavior, and the reward comes to fulfill that craving. For instance, if you have a habit of drinking coffee in the morning, the behavior, the cue might be waking up, and the reward is the feeling of alertness and energy that coffee gives you. 2. Strengthening the association between the behavior and the cue. When the brain receives a reward after performing a certain behavior, it starts linking the cue to the reward. This connection makes the brain anticipate the reward as soon as the cue appears next time, reinforcing the repetition of the behavior. Immediate rewards versus delayed rewards. One of the key concepts James Clear discusses is the difference between immediate rewards and delayed rewards. 1. Immediate rewards. These are the rewards you get right after performing a behavior, and they are often the main reason for the formation of bad habits. For example, when eating unhealthy food, you immediately enjoy the delicious taste, the immediate reward, even though the negative consequences like weight gain or health problems may come later. Clear emphasizes that positive habits tend to be harder at first because the immediate reward may not be as noticeable or motivating as those related to bad habits. For example, when you start exercising, you might not see results immediately, and instead you may feel tired or sore, reducing your motivation to continue. That's why Clear advises finding ways to create immediate rewards that support positive habits, even if they are small or psychological, like celebrating a small achievement or feeling a sense of accomplishment after completing a workout. 2. Delayed rewards. These are the rewards that come in the long term and are often the ultimate goal behind the behavior. Many positive habits offer delayed rewards. For instance, with regular exercise, the big reward comes after a long period such as improved health, better fitness, and a sense of well-being. The problem, as James Clear explains, is that delayed rewards aren't motivating enough in the short term. Human nature tends to favor immediate rewards, which is why people often choose bad habits with quick payoffs over good habits that bring rewards later. How to handle delayed rewards. The major challenge lies in learning how to deal with delayed rewards and making positive habits easier to repeat. Clear suggests being conscious of the long-term rewards you will gain from these habits and stresses the importance of sticking to them until you start seeing results. To use rewards to build good habits, James Clear provides practical tips to support this goal. Find immediate rewards to support good habits. Try to find a way to give yourself an immediate reward after completing a positive behavior, even if it's simple. For example, after finishing a workout, you can reward yourself with an enjoyable activity or something small that you love, as long as it aligns with your goals and doesn't undermine the effort you've put in. Link immediate rewards to delayed rewards. It's important to recognize that the behavior you're performing today will lead to great results in the long run. Clear recommends constantly reminding yourself of the benefits you'll gain in the future by continuing the habit, reinforcing your connection to the good behavior. Be wary of harmful rewards. Sometimes people tend to reward themselves in ways that conflict with their goals, like eating unhealthy food after a workout. Clear warns against these types of harmful rewards and suggests looking for rewards that align with the primary goal of the habits you want to establish. Rewards are the driving force behind habit formation because they reinforce behavior and make it repeatable. However, the distinction between immediate and delayed rewards plays a significant role in making positive habits harder at first. Clear advises being aware of this challenge and working to build immediate rewards that support you on the path to the delayed rewards that come over time. Balancing these two types of rewards makes it easier to build positive habits and achieve the change we strive for. Dear viewer, with that, we conclude our review of this fascinating book. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for our next video and another exciting book. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you for listening attentively, and thank you for your invaluable time.